School nurses, saving the world one ice pack at a time. School nurses are typically associated with simply slapping an ice pack on a student no matter the occasion. Got a paper cut? Ice pack. Broke a leg? Ice pack. Got an F on your last test? Go grab an ice pack. But in reality, school nurses are responsible for so much more. Their offices can provide a safe space for students that the bathroom or counselor's room don't. They contact the hospital for emergencies, and they provide recurring screening to look out for developing conditions such as scoliosis. There should be another nurse's office on UCVTS campus for multiple reasons. By having more than one nurse's office on campus, we can get screening done more efficiently. Having another nurse's office will make getting there faster, which is important for emergencies. The office may also provide another safe space for students. More on that later. There should be another nurse's office on campus because it would increase screening efficiency, make it easier to reach a nurse's office, and provide safe space for the students. One of the major responsibilities of school nurses is to issue routine screenings for conditions such as scoliosis or doing basic checkups like for hearing and sight. This is important because high school students are still growing, so it's good to check for early developments. The current system with the single nurse's office is that students eligible to get screenings will wait until the last period to be called in for their checkup. Because of the number of people on campus, this takes a substantial amount of time to complete. Besides, if there's an emergency that blocks off the main entrance for AIT, access to rooms such as the nurse's office will also be cut off. Having another building with a nurse's office disperses the influx of people waiting to get their screening done. This gets the job done faster, so students can get it out of the way and concentrate on their studies. The distribution of the nurses would not only make screening faster, but also make the travel time decrease for schools not as close. UCVTS needs a second nurse's office on campus to maximize time efficiency to get to one. As of 2021, UCVTS has a single nurse's office at Bistokey Hall, also known as AIT. While AIT is placed in a good location, the closest to the center of campus, it can still be a relatively long walk when coming from other schools which are not as close in proximity to Bistokey Hall. This is important because of the lack of time between classes. If a student just needs a Band-Aid, they would have to walk out of the school all the way to AIT, locate the nurse's office, and come back before classes begin. They could get a late pass for it, but the time at the beginning of class is still lost. Students could worry about anything they'd missed for that class, but health comes first. It is also problematic because the nurse's office is needed for treatment for messy situations, such as getting a nosebleed. People need to get to the nurse quickly when such events occur, and it doesn't help that the layout of each school is inconsistent. Since there is only one nurse's office in a school that is responsible for only a fraction of the student population at UCVTS, many students won't have the priority of memorizing the layout of AIT when it isn't their home school. This might make it more difficult to source the nurse when in an emergency. If that person had a nosebleed, they might have spread blood everywhere while looking for the nurse. Or if they got a cut on their leg, it might have been difficult for them to travel all the way. We need another nurse's office on campus because it would be another room that students may visit. It could be faster going to a nurse's office in a nearby school. More choices means more space. Besides needing another nurse's office for physical treatment, we need another nurse to procure another safe space for the students. Some nurses' offices have beds, which the school should have to provide a quiet environment. Beds are typically present for students with headaches or those who just need a rest before classes begin again. Another nurse's office would make it less daunting for students to visit, which is part of being a safe space. We have a safe space, but making it more accessible by providing another room for one would make the idea more appealing. Besides, what's wrong with having another safe space for students? Students can get really easily stressed with the workload at UCVTS, which may result in headaches or just needing some quiet time, which might require a room that's quiet, easily provided by the nurse's office. Like I said before, it can be intimidating for students to walk to the nurse's office since there's only one and it may be assumed to be in high demand. With a second nurse's office, that fear is alleviated and helps make it a safe space. A safe space is good for the mental well-being of students, but the resources it would take to get something like a bed to make it into a safe space is a valid concern. One might argue that the school shouldn't need to use up resources for a nurse's office that would probably only be needed at the beginning of the year. Nurses only need to do the screenings, and anything more than that could be fixed with an ice pack. Anything more than what could be fixed with an ice pack could be solved by calling the hospital. So there's no need in wasting space for a second nurse's office when the school could use the space for something we don't already have, like a library. These are reasonable points, but the long-term benefits of having a second nurse's office outweigh the cost. The school doesn't have enough counselors, splitting the workload of at least 8 counselors to just 2 for all 4 grades at school. With a second nurse's office, the students can have another set of nurses that might also act as counselors, helping not only with the physical health of the students, but the mental health as well. Mental health is very important for both students and the adults that facilitate the school. Spreading the workload would lessen the stress for the nurse counselors. Besides this, UCVTS can be a dangerous place. There is a fitness room in every school, so it makes sense that the school with the biggest gym has the nurse's office hosting Project Adventure 2. Even though every activity has safety measures, accidents can happen, like at the Academy for Performing Arts. APA is a school dedicated to the performing arts, which can have a lot of physical activity. UC Tech offers a variety of classes, one of which being cooking, in which accidents from the fire may occur, and even Magnet High School can offer injury, as the makerspace has a bundle of dangerous equipment that needs proper care. UCVTS is responsible for the well-being of its students, so it's better safe than sorry to have a second nurse's office. In conclusion, UCVTS should get another nurse's office on campus to improve time efficiency, increase accessibility, and provide another safe space for the students. Reducing the time it takes to get the necessary screening done at the beginning of the school year would keep the schedules less cluttered, giving more time for students to learn in class while the screening goes on. It will also reduce the time it takes to get to a nurse's office, increasing accessibility. It would provide a safe space for students to go to, which is good for their mental health, especially with the stress of the school's workload. With another nurse's office, there should be another nurse to help out the workload of the counselors and nurses. School nurses are good for the health of the students, so making the experience as welcoming as possible is important. Whether it's just by giving a quiet place for kids to relax before classes begin, or giving them an ice pack. School nurses save the world one ice pack at a time.